When you're first starting out in business, it's so easy to get caught in the mindset that you're just trying to sell your products and services to basically anyone and everyone. But the truth is, one of the biggest factors of your success as a solopreneur or a small business owner is being able to define your niche, or niche if you are American. I'm going to say niche because it's more natural, but just know I'm thinking of you, my friends. So in today's video, I thought I would break down what a niche is, how you can go about creating one, and the benefits as to why you really should. So let's start with what a niche actually is. Basically, it's your specialized area of expertise. So rather than going out and trying to serve the entire market and convince everybody to buy your products and services, you're going to choose a specific segment within your whole marketplace and you're going to focus on them. For example, if you are a musician, maybe you choose to be a jazz musician. If you are into photography, you might choose to be a food photographer. Or if you're a marketer, you might choose to do marketing for spa owners. You choose your speciality based on subject, audience, or both, ideally both. The idea is that by building up your expertise in this specific area, you become the go-to expert and the number one buyer's choice in your field. Now, I get it. You might be thinking, Chloe, if I only market to this specific segment, amn't I leaving money on the table? Amn't I stopping clients from buying from me? When in truth is, it's the opposite. There are so many benefits to defining your niche. You're marketing to less people, but you have this ability to make more money. And that's because you're resonating with people, you're touching on their pain points and really connecting with them on a deeper level. If you were trying to connect to everyone, your message would have to be so generalized that it would reach nobody. So the thing to remember here is that when you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. The more specific you are about who your ideal client is and who you are trying to reach, the more you will understand their personality, how they speak, how they interact, what their hopes and dreams are, what their concerns are, what are their pain points, all the stuff that makes them human, all the stuff that makes it easy for you to have a conversation and connect with them on their level. We know that people do business with other people they know, like, and trust. You have to be able to invest a significant amount of time to really understand your customer in order to be able to create and deliver messaging, products, services that actually make a difference and they actually hear. It's one thing to be talking to people, but you can be talking at them or you can be talking with them. And when you're trying to be a megaphone reaching everyone, you attract no one. Instead, you want to be very specific and become a magnet that attracts the right people to you. Now, I do have a resource to help with this, so if you check in the description, I'll link that to you. That will help you to identify your ideal client, which is a big step towards defining your niche. Number 2 is that you become the leading go-to expert. You have the ability to become the best in the world at what you do. This is a lesson that took me a really long time to learn because in the beginning, I was just trying to fix problems for business owners. Any marketing problem, I was the go-to fixer-upper type person who was trying to make everything okay. And the truth is, I just became pretty mediocre and bland at everything. I wasn't an expert. I wasn't really known for something. And when clients went to recommend me, they didn't even really know what to recommend me for. So the more that you can stick your flag down and say, this is who I am and this is what I do, you can then become the leader. And that's where you want to be, because then you become a trusted advisor, not only to your clients, but to your larger community. And even if they don't buy from you, they're very likely to recommend you because you've made it very easy for them to do so. Number 3 is the most exciting one, I'm sure. We're talking all about money. People will pay more money for a better targeted value proposition. And so what I mean by that is that when you become the go-to expert, when you become known for something, your value and perceived value increases. And people are going to pay more to invest in you as the number one leading expert in what you do because they know that you're going to solve their problem better than anybody else. And they know that you've done that because you can touch on their pain points better than anyone else, which brings me to my previous points, right? The more you know them, the better your value proposition targeting is, the more you are perceived to be of like a higher value, and you can charge a premium for that. Now, number 4 is you also tend to see higher conversion rates because people know that you can definitely solve their problem. It's like when I was Miss Bland Marketer a few years ago. People didn't really know what I did or what I helped them with. So people might have been visiting my website, they might have been interested in my content, they might have looked at my services page, but they weren't really clear about what it is I did and if I could definitely 100% solve their problem and better than anyone else. So the more specific you get, the more specific your content and your messaging is, and your brand promise, right? You could sit there and say, hey, this is what I promise to do for you. The more specific you get with all of those things, the clearer it is to the reader or the website visitor or the potential client that you are the person to solve their problem. And so they're far, far, far more likely to buy from you. So higher conversion rates is also a big plus. Number 5 is kind of tangled into the previous comments in the fact that you can attract your ideal client. So we've all worked with clients that were just not a good fit. And we can complain and say like they were this or they were that, it wasn't good. But the truth is that's our responsibility. It's our responsibility to make sure that we're really clear about who it is that we're serving. And the only way you can do that is by defining your niche and being very, very specific in the group of people you are trying to serve. That way your messaging can reflect that, and you will only take on clients that match that profile, which just makes for a nicer working environment, right? And if things are good or you're feeling good and you're working with the right people, guess what happens? The quality of your work improves too. So your results are going to increase, and you're far more likely to retain that customer and attract new ones through them. Finally, marketing becomes a breeze. I promise you this is actually a real thing, because you might have to do a lot of work up front. If you haven't defined your niche, you have to do a lot of work up front in really understanding who your ideal client is and understanding the way they think and the messaging that resonates with them. But once you understand that, it's like hanging out with a friend, right? It's so easy to talk to them. You know what they're interested in, you know what they care about, you know what content they want to see, you know what they want to hear, you know all that stuff. So it becomes sort of like chatting with a friend rather than trying to attract this paying customer, right? The business barriers come down, and this is where business gets human. And so that's just a very, very big added bonus, because marketing, if you don't have a niche, is incredibly difficult and usually doesn't reap the results because, I said before, it's just far too generalized. Okay, so I'm assuming that you're now sold on the whole let's define our niche thing. And with that being said, I wanted to come up with this really simple, easy to follow formula that you could use to define your niche, because it can be a little bit overwhelming and you might be uncertain. And so it goes a little like this. Who is your ideal client? And we've got that covered because we've got a workbook for that in the description below. What is their problem? What is your solution and expertise? And then what is your passion? And how can we combine those things together to create your niche? So let me give you a few examples so you could see this in action and put it together for yourself. So let's take the example of the Minimalistic Baker on Instagram, a great account. So their expertise is, of course, cooking. The problem that they're trying to solve is that it's really hard to cook for a lot of people. You know, we don't really like to cook, we don't really know how to cook. Now, their solution is to deliver easy to follow recipes. But their passion, this is the little secret sauce, if you will, is that they create recipes that are gluten-free and vegan. Game changer, right? So basically their niche is to reach out to the vegan and gluten-free community and provide easy to follow recipes so that you can cook. Now that sounds super targeted, and it is, but that is why they're hugely successful. And I can tell you, as someone who can't eat dairy and can't have gluten, that I 100% click the follow button for that reason. But of course, in that case, I'm kind of biased. So let me give you another example. Let's take Planet Fitness, right? The gym for all. Now it would be easy to mistake that as a company that is trying to reach everyone. But if you think about their messaging and their branding, that is not the case. So their expertise is fitness, right? They're helping people to get fit and healthy. But there's a problem, and this is a problem that a certain group of people are facing. The problem is that sometimes going to the gym can be really, really expensive. It can also be really intimidating, especially if you don't already look a certain way, right? You gotta get to the gym to bust your buns off to look a certain way, but if you're not starting at that place, it can be intimidating to go to a place that's filled with that, basically, filled with your insecurities, if you will. And so what they did is their solution was to create a very low cost membership. It's like $10 a month, which almost everybody can afford, right, to go to the gym. And what they did is they made it specifically targeted to everyday people that weren't super fit, healthy fitness models. Their coloring is bright and bold. They make it very welcoming. Twice a month, I believe, they do like I think it's like a bagel and coffee morning, and then they do like a pizza night, which kind of puts out that message that we're all about moderation, right? We're here for the average Joe, and we're not here to tell you to be super, super lean and work out and do all the hard grind stuff and all that stuff, right? I'm not very good at it, but you know what I'm saying. It's specifically targeted to the everyday person who just wants to maintain a healthy lifestyle or get in shape without feeling intimidated and without it costing an excessive amount just to go to the gym. And so that's another example. If you even just Google a ton of examples, you will find many. But what I would really ask you to do is think about the companies that you love and start breaking it down. Before I finish this and tell you to go off and create your niche with our little formula that we have, I also want to make the point that the Minimalistic Baker, you can be a meat lover and still follow that account and find some incredible recipes. You're not banned from going on that account. You're not unwelcomed on that account. If there is something for sale, you could still invest with that. No one's telling you can't. The same with Planet Fitness. Maybe you are a big muscly dude or girl who loves to go to the gym and work out and live that whole gym life thing. You could tell that I'm definitely not part of that lifestyle because I have no idea even the lingo to talk about. But if you are one of those people, you can still do that. No one's telling you can't go to the gym. It's not like there's a not welcome sign on the door. It's just that you're not necessarily focusing on those people, and your marketing and targeting isn't focused on those people. It's focusing on the people that you serve best. And so the thing to keep in mind is that while it can be a little unnerving to think that you're turning away customers in the beginning by focusing on your niche, is very much the opposite. You get all the benefits, and at the end of the day, if people that don't match your ideal client profile still want to work with you, that's still an option. But at the same time, you're much more likely to not need those additional clients because you'll have a ton anyway, because you'll be better at your marketing and better at your messaging. So I hope that you found that helpful, and I hope that you find this sort of more business educational style more helpful. If you did, maybe consider giving it a thumbs up and hitting subscribe, clicking the little bell icon so that you can be notified next time I post a video. And if you have any questions, if you want to share your examples or get some feedback on the niche that you've chosen, please reach out to me. I'm here to serve you in the best way I can. Never forget, my friend, you have the power to change the world one connection and one conversation at a time. Much love from my heart to yours. I hope we speak soon. Have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world.